Coming up on the Potter's Touch.
Oh, see, y'all know what she was watching.
So, hey, y'all, hey.
Hey, what's going on?
Hey, y'all, hey. We are live and direct. Good evening, everybody.
What's up, what's up, what's up? It's your man, Jerry Goins, right here live with your host for the evening, Alicia Friday Goins. How are you today, miss?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Hey, I'm blessed. You see who I'm beside? I'm blessed. You know what I'm saying? So we wanted to go ahead and come here today to help get any kind of questions, credit questions. We're not certified financial advisors. Disclaimer, of course. Definitely you want to seek help from your financial advisor. But we have been doing this for a very long time.
Yes.
And we do have some common questions that people have about credit. And if you have a question about credit, go ahead and comment it down in the comment section below. And also tell us, where y'all are tuning in from. Where are you tuning in from?
Looks like we got 3 viewers. And we're not only live on Facebook, we're also live on Instagram. So, hey, if you follow us on Instagram, tune in there as well. So, hey, who just joined over here? I can't read y'all. Hello, IG World. Thank you for tuning in.
Big Kaboo.
Thank you for tuning in, and thank you for Facebook Live. So we're not going to take too much of your time this evening. We know y'all got things to do, but we did have a couple of questions that were actually inboxed. And before we get into that, we're going to start doing this every Thursday at 6 p.m., talking more about what it is that we offer. A lot of people have questions, and, sometimes people are afraid to ask those questions. So we just wanted to open up a platform that we could talk about those things. And, he already gave you a disclaimer, but I'm going to give you another one. If we can't get your answer, your question answered on live today, if there's something that we may not be sure about, we're not going to give you the wrong information. We're going to make sure we get you that information.
Sure. I already know. I already tell you, look, I have no clue, but I do know some millionaires that can answer the question. I know some people with black cards, okay, with no limits on them.
Goals.
Yeah. So we can get your questions answered. So we're talking about business credit. We're talking about personal credit. Any kind of credit questions that you have.
Home ownership is another
one. Home ownership questions. Yes, we can help you with that as well. Go ahead and drop that down. Let's fire off the first question though.
Right. Well, today we're just talking about personal credit, okay? Those are other sessions, but today's just personal credit. So let me go ahead and put out here the first question. So I had a question DM to me, and that question was actually, when is the best time to start a trade line? So you want to take?
Yeah. First of all, what is a trade line? So that's number one. And what a trade line is basically an item that appears on your credit report where a company is offering you they're extending funds to you that you can borrow. So you're talking about a trade line can be, when last time you went to Old Navy, right? And they say, hey, apply for an Old Navy card and we'll give you blah, 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 blah. That would be a trade line that would appear on your credit profile. Also, like if you go and get a car loan, that's a trade line. Anything that is an installment payment is a trade line. And when's the best time to start one of those? Well, first of all, what do you mean by start one?
I think the question was mainly, let me put it this way. I have to explain it the way I know it. So,
well, I'm trying to explain it to the people because they're like, trade line.
Okay, let me just say, when you talk about restoring your credit or getting yourself back to square one, we all start with 300, but when we talk about getting yourself to those 600 and 700 credit scores, so when we talk about starting a trade line, we know we all were 18 and we probably messed up a little bit. But when you start your credit journey, when you try to get yourself straightened out, you got to understand that when you're in this process, you got to have negatives and, let me put my hands in here. All right, negatives and positives working for you. You got to kind of balance, okay? Right. You can't just have negatives. You got to have some positives. So this is what the trade line that are going to help for you. And if you've ever been on any of the 800 calls that we post up, we talk about different types of credit and why you need trade lines, because look, they're checking you, okay? They want to see your new credit lines. They want to see how long you had them. They want to know if you can keep a balance, meaning like lower than 30% of your utilization, those different things. So when we talk about starting one, people kind of already know. I mean, I guess should have got clarification on that question, but you absolutely need to have both of them going for yourself. And a lot of times when you don't know how to start it, you're already investing in credit services. You're investing in getting your credit where it needs to be. So if you've been following me lately, I've been talking about budgeting. So automatic, when you get started with this, you need to go ahead and put that in your budget on how to start some trade lines. It could be an unsecured, maybe your credit's to the point where you can get a secured, but you always want to talk to whoever's helping you to make sure that they kind of give you the right thing, because there are things out here, let's talk about some of our favorite ones, that you have to kind of invest in the beginning. So give them kind of some examples of those.
So that's what I was trying to get her to get to.
I feel
is
for
to, what do you mean by trade lines? Well, we have, there's negative items on your report that you got to get off, but you have to add positive items at the same time, because banks want and lenders want to see what you're doing with the credit. Not just that you don't have anything, negative on your credit. I want to see some positive credit. We have credit building resources for you, up to $19,000 in trade lines that you can add. You can purchase these and they appear on your credit report within, I want to say, a month or less.
Yeah.
Sometimes it might take, sometimes it might take up to 60 days, but these appear on your credit report as credit, and it doesn't hurt your credit to get it.
Right. And you
guaranteed approval.
Yeah, and you want to have them both. I mean, you need to. And, honestly, if you can come in, like I said, and go ahead and start on your services, and then, hey, say I need a trade line automatically, then that's something you want to go ahead and do. And something that I really, for those that want to be homeowners, something I recommend to them is some type of savings account that reports to your credit. That one helps a lot, because listen, when you sit down at that table with them big dogs, like, you need to go ahead and have something building. And I've recommended that when you start that, you go ahead and let these people know that, hey, I'm building this credit, this savings account over here, because they're going to want to know every coin you have. So if you're building and restoring yourself to the point so that you can get qualified, then go ahead and start some type of a savings account that's going to report to your credit. We have some of those trade lines we can recommend if you're interested, that you can save some of your closing costs in, or some of your insurance costs, or your escrow costs in. Go ahead and get that going. That way that you'll have that going for you, and it's reporting to your credit, and it's helping you get that score you need.
Genius. That's genius. So you mean you can actually start saving for your down payment or for your escrow, and you can also actually build your credit at the same time.
Absolutely.
That's crazy.
I mean,
go ahead and share this if you were finding some value out right away. And maybe somebody else in your friend circle might have some questions that we can get answers for you. This is Goins Financial Sessions. We are partnered with an amazing company called Nove Money, and we help people we do all the work, and we help our clients get all the credit.
Right.
Yes. So you got another question over there.
So I have a question about the results. Basically, I guess we need to talk about, what the process is, how it works, and the results. Like, how quickly are you going to get results? And maybe we need to sprinkle some of those new bureau rules in there.
Yeah, so that's true. So what does it take to dispute things on your credit? Well, number one, what our company does, we do automatic dispute services for you. And what happens is we do even the stamps, even the envelopes, we pay for all of that. You just pay your monthly fee. So you're not having to do anything additional. You're not having to hunt down the credit bureaus, find the addresses. You're not having to put everything together. You're not having to talk the lawyer language, okay? Because we have special built letters that go to these credit bureaus. And what happens when they receive it, they have to validate that. If they don't validate it in a certain amount of time, they got to remove it. Come off your credit. Even if you owe the debt, if they can't prove you owe the debt, or if they don't do it in a timely fashion, it's got to go off your credit report, right? So in the time, when we're talking about time, it usually takes about 45 days for that. But now, during the CARES Act is given because of this. Yeah, man, hopefully we'll be looking back on this video next year like, man, I can't believe we survived and we went through all that, quarantine to just,
pandemic,
the business is closing down.
Like what he's saying, like, y'all got to understand that when the world shut down, everybody and their mama shut down. I'm not trying to be ratchet on here, but I'm trying to be real. The whole world shut down. Okay?
Yeah.
I mean, they were not in the office, y'all. They weren't working virtually.
Right.
So we've been sending letters.
And they ain't been responding. But guess whose favor that works in? Yours. Okay.
Believe it or not.
So you just gotta stay patient with the process. I think we got another question here, a live question coming in from Mrs. Grant.
Yes, she hit it right on the head. There it is. There it is. There it is. Yes, that is true. They have been
We
given
gotta read her question
an
for everybody
extension.
that's watching.
So her question, IG World and Facebook, is it true credit bureaus have been given an extension in order to respond to dispute letters due to COVID?
Yeah.
Yes.
So you get another 45 days. So that means 3 months that they are getting to respond to anything that we're sending out. That's why some people that are not seeing those responses come back from the credit bureaus like they used to. They're like, hey, what happened to my responses? It's not us. You can look in your back office and you can see the letters that we sent and when we send them. So that's really cool too, because some companies don't offer that transparency. We'll show you the exact letter that we sent and the accounts that we're disputing.
It's so professional. It's like so professional
It's
and
dope.
stern. Like it's just like take it off.
Yes.
No, I read the letters every now and then. But
Take it off.
yes, but typically they would have had 30 days, an extension of 15 days, so that's 45 days. But they're up to about 60 right now. So we're looking at about minimum 2 months that they have to respond to letters that we are sending them. So yes, we do. So also we have another question off of that one. As far as disputes are concerned, harassment is another one. We turned off over here. Harassment is another one. You ever notice that when you start these things that people start calling you and harassing you? Listen, you do not, a lot of times you don't owe that debt and you shouldn't be answering the phone. Okay, don't agree to it. Don't be like, yeah, that's my credit. I was trying to get it worked on. Yeah, but the COVIDs and the Rona, unemployment. Just don't do that. They shouldn't be calling you. They shouldn't be harassing you. We have things called FCRA rules or laws. And listen, that is the Fair Credit Reporting Act, and there are a ton of laws that mean, hey, you're not supposed to be harassing me. But on top of that, look, we can help you, get settlements if they keep blowing up your phone. Okay. So we got another question. The next question is, what credit score is more favorable, the FICO or the Vantage? We were actually going to cover that. We have that question on here as well. There are actually 3 different ones. So I'm going to let him take it away. Hey, IG World.
Y'all see this this tripod just failed. And what's funny is before this, Alle was like, is it running out of battery? Now this thing blinks all the time, and it's like, oh, the battery's about to die. And an hour later, it's not dead. And I was like,
y'all know men don't listen. But
anyway, I was like, nah, it's good. It's good. Don't worry about it.
Answer her question.
Okay, yeah. So we're talking about Vantage score. Now that actually goes into what Credit Karma is showing you. It's called the Vantage score. Now the Vantage score has been developed by the 3 credit bureaus. It's something that they took upon themselves to develop. It is different from what's called the FICO score. The FICO score is what is the Fair Isaac Corporation, something that they made back in the 80s, that determines your credit report. The difference between the two, one really looks more on the length of history, and the other more looks on the more like recent. And as far as differences between them, they're both accurate to their own regard. So if your lender is looking at the Vantage score, then it's going to be accurate what you see on Credit Karma. That's what they're also going to see. And if the lender, and I'll tell you right now, most lenders are looking at the FICO. If they're handing out big money, they're looking at FICO only because that's been around longer. They already have their money set up. They know the risk factors when they're talking about FICO score. So they know if you have a 700 FICO score, they know just about the risk factor for them. Okay, they know your default rate and things like that. If they switch over to Vantage scores, which is what you see in Credit Karma, then they would have to go back years and just wipe out all this data that they have on you, and they don't really know the risk factor. So in terms of which one is more favorable, you got to have both. You got to know both. Okay. So what we do, we give you access to your Vantage score, and it updates kind of like what Credit Karma does, but ours updates on a monthly basis, and you can we have what's called a simulator, so you can actually simulate what your score should be if you do things like pay off your debt. You know what I'm saying? You can actually see what your score should be. Really helpful for renters trying to be homeowners.
Absolutely, because when you're in that process and you want to go into home ownership, you're going to be checking your score 24/7. You want to know, did I move any? So I just started trade line. Did this happen? I just paid this off. Oh, this dropped off. What's going on? You need to have something that is working in your favor so that you'll be able to check these things. And that's something that we can offer you as well. And with the even with the, we call it smart credit, even with that, you're going to also be able to get your auto insurance rate. A lot of times
Oh,
they're
good
looking
point.
at your credit when you go to get your car insurance. You can save some money if your credit's a lot better. Another thing, your auto loan. So a lot of times you may go to the car lot and be like, well, Credit Karma said, it was 717 and I got there
I don't
and
mean to laugh so
it was
hard.
6 something. That's
Really, say it again.
no, I'm not. No.
Credit Karma said.
I'm just saying, Credit Sesame, Credit Karma, whatever. No shade to any of these companies. I don't want to get banned. I don't want to get blocked, but I'm just stating facts. Okay, they said that, but listen, the lender is looking at something different. When you sit down at the table with these mortgage lenders, they're going to be looking at something different. They're going to be looking at your Vantage score.
Yeah,
I mean, your FICO score.
Yeah.
And you can get your FICO score. It is an extra service that you would have to pay for. And if you absolutely,
that's like $40 a month.
Yeah.
To get your FICO.
But if you about that life and you listen, it's worth the investment.
Experian.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to make sure it's Experian or Equifax One. If you sign, it's Experian, I do believe. Sign up for an account at Experian. They'll show you your FICO score for free.
Okay.
So that's something that you can do as well. It's your FICO 8. They have FICO 8, 9, 10. So and these things they just tweak the score just a little bit. They tweak the calculation just a little bit each time. So the new FICO 10 that's coming out, it basically looks at your banking habits now. So that's another thing where you gotta understand. You gotta keep you cannot let no non-sufficient fund transactions happen at all, because now that is going to start showing up on your credit.
Not even on FICO 10. Like, they're going to look at that when you go into home ownership. I know this isn't the home ownership segment, but listen, they look at your balances. They look at your spending habits. They look at how many NSF fees you had, because listen, they're about to give you a good chunk of money for them keys, and they're going to be looking at these things. So it's very, very important. And that's kind of why I've been on my budget kick as well. But, he wanted to talk about credit today. Credit is bae. So
see how
we're here.
She always throw me under the bus.
We're here.
That ain't fair, man. Y'all need to come help me out, man. Throw some hearts and throw some likes up in here. You know what I'm saying? Support your boy. You know what I'm saying? I know it's her feed, but support your boy.
Ours. What's yours is mine, and what's mine is yours.
All right. We got about 3 more minutes in here. Yes. So, the resiliency score, the resiliency index. That's something new that's hitting. That's hitting I was doing a little bit of research, you know what I'm saying? I get the news. I get all the news, you know what I'm saying? So resiliency index now, it determines how well a borrower can survive a recession. So the higher, it's like 1 to 10. The higher it is, the better. The lower it is, the worse it is. No, actually, so it's the inverse of credit, because credit, the higher the better. Your resiliency score, the lower the better. So if you have a resiliency score of 1, that means you are handling your bills and you're able to make ends meet even during a recession. Whereas if you have a 10, that means if a recession hit, you out the game. So they're using that now to determine, should they give you things like a mortgage? Should they give you things like a car note? You know what I'm saying? So they got it out for you, but it's up to you to stay in the know.
Absolutely.
Your credit score is nothing but your financial literacy score. That's what they should call it, financial literacy score.
Absolutely.
You like that, right?
I like that.
I came up with that the other day on a client.
Oh, I'm going to take it. But anyway, anyway.
You heard it here first.
But yeah, that is all the questions that we have. But before we get out of here, I know this is something new, so maybe not a lot of people want to ask a lot of questions, and that's fine. We're going to keep bringing it to you on every Thursday at 6 p.m. But before I want to get out of here, I just want to throw out the do's and don'ts real quick for individuals that get started with the process, or, things just not to do. So I'm going to cover some of the don'ts. I'm going to do the negative first. I'm going to play good cop, bad cop. So I'm going to be the bad cop right now. I'm going to let him come over and, put the cherry on top, make things a little bit smoother.
I'll be the good cop.
But don'ts. We see this all the time. And this is no disrespect to anyone, but it's something that you cannot do. You got to understand, number 1, when you started your journey, when your credit journey, whether you messed it up, whatever, those things, it was easy for you to mess these things up and not know because you weren't financially educated, number 1, or maybe you fell on hard times. It's not your fault. I get it. But when you start your journey, understand that, it didn't happen overnight, and the process is not going to happen overnight either. It is a it's a system of what you got to do to be able to get yourself where you need to be. Just deleting things is not going to help necessarily. For some people it may. That's why I said you got to have negatives, you got to have positives. The next thing, just because you're getting your credit where it needs to be or you're working on it, that does not mean that you can go out here and every time somebody says, hey, you want a card, you say yes, because you think that just because you're in the process that you're going to get approved.
Right.
That costs points, y'all. And then, we're not going to throw scenarios out here, but then when you want to wonder, okay, well, why did my score drop? Because you're out there doing something you're not supposed to be doing. Okay? You can't do that.
Sum that up for him. What do you mean?
I mean, you can't.
Don't apply for new credit while we're fixing your credit.
I mean, basically, that's what it means. I mean, there are times to add the trade lines, but talk to who's helping you, and they'll be able to help you get those things started. But don't go out here and go crazy. Because let me tell you something. When y'all get to about the 640, 650 range, you're going to get
credit card offers out there. Wow.
You're pre-approved. Yeah. You're like, oh, yeah, okay, that's fine. Ask
go
who's
ahead,
helping
Alle,
you.
get me pre-approved.
Go ahead and, celebrate. But listen, pause. Talk to who's helping you first and see if that's something that you need to go with. Because we know, like, some of these banks are not legit. Some of these credit cards are not legit. Some of these credit cards, like, if you don't know the APY or the APR on some of these loans, it's basically a loan. If you don't know this, listen, they're going to drain you. You think you're getting good credit, and listen, they're draining you. Okay, you got these trade lines and you got these credit balances, and you're paying on time every month, but you're not making any progress. You got to know these things. You got to talk to people that understand these things. Don't go out here and get crazy with it. Just don't. I'm coaching my mom right now, and she's like, I'm gonna be real. My mom's got like 10 credit cards. She's gonna kill me when she hears this live, but she is doing the thing. Do you hear me? And she'll call me and be like, I got another credit card offer. I'm like, Mama, no.
Let me read it first.
No. Do you see that says 36%?
Yeah. That's not even legal. Like, you got to like sign
35.99, 24.99, 26.9. No, it's a no. It's a no, fam. We can't do that. Okay? We can't do that. So don't go overboard. Always talk to who's helping you, because 9 times out of 10 they have a game plan. Another don't.
How about I give him a do first?
Okay, yeah, give him a do first.
Jeez, trying to take all the don'ts and do's and do's.
Give him a do first.
So what you do want to do is pay your monthly membership. Okay? When you stop paying your membership with our company, we stop sending them dispute letters. Okay? Now, what happens with that is, remember, it's 90 days sometimes for a response back. So if you give a break of a month, you just hurt a whole extra 90-day cycle. You have got to maintain your auto ship. Your auto pay is what it's called when it comes out automatically. Just maintain it. Just go ahead and put it in your budget. Just like your budget for gas, just like your budget for your light bill, your cable bill, Netflix. Okay, you budget for that. So just budget for your credit services, because that is invaluable. The amount of money that Better Credit can save you is well worth just making sure you have that little $50. Or for our premium customers, that's $79 in your account. Okay? That's my do.
All right. And here is my don't. And we're going to get ready to get out of here because we wanted to keep this under 30 minutes. My don't is don't expect quick fixes. Okay? It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. And if it does, you got a problem. Because that means 9 times out of 10, it's illegal and it was a credit sweep. And listen, y'all, all that stuff that just happened and got off of there so quick is going to dump right back on you when you least expect it. Okay, so always pay attention to those things and go ahead and throw them a do.
Get some of these positive trade lines that we're offering. Okay, again, guaranteed approval. Okay, it's going to help build your credit. It doesn't ding your credit like some of the like applying for a credit card, applying for a car loan. Remember, we said you need positive things on your credit report, but you don't want to actually apply for these things. You just want something that's guaranteed approval. And it's going to give you a 5,000, 3,000, 2,000, 1,500. We also have one that is, I want to say 20,000. That one's a little expensive, but you can get it. Add that to your credit report. Definitely do that, and do it within. You know what? We never answered that question. When do we want to add a trade line? We just start talking about trade lines.
Okay, yeah, we did. I'm excited. Immediately, if you can. And that's why I was saying, like, that's why I've been on my budgeting kick.
Oh yeah, you did say immediately.
I kind of, yeah, immediately if you can. And if not, most people we recommend, give it a couple of months and get started, so you can balance yourself out. You know what I'm saying? But you want to get it started as soon as possible. And you're going to see results quicker if you do those things. And, I know times are hard right now for some. It's getting back to this new normal, but you want to make sure you're budgeting. Because believe it or not, y'all probably like, why are you on this budget kick, Allie, lately? It's because y'all got to understand debt, cash flow, and credit are best friends. You gotta have all these things.
That's actually pretty good.
All these things.
That's pretty good.
Amen. Okay.
That's good.
Yeah, they're best friends, y'all.
Because when you start budgeting better, you get better cash flow. You got better cash flow, you automatically, by default, are going to have better credit.
Right.
Because you paying your bills on time.
Right.
And you're not desperate for... Okay, so if you're budgeting, then you're also budgeting and you have what's called an emergency fund. You're dumping some money, putting some money aside. So when, crazy stuff happens, you have it ready. But if you don't do that, then guess what? You got to go out and get something on credit.
Right. But how you going to credit a credit card bill if your cash flow is not together and you haven't been budgeting and you haven't been saving? How you going to slay that debt? See, all three of these things go hand in hand. And with that being said, if you need help with any of those things, make sure to get with us and we will definitely give you a free consultation and help you. If this has been shared and, whoever shared it with you is in, part of the credit gang, then you want to make sure you reach out to them because they're going to be able to help you just like we just did. So thank you so much for tuning in. We're going to be talking business credit next Thursday at 6 p.m. So get those questions together.
Yeah, get them together. Let's get it. All right, y'all. We are out of here. We spent more time than we wanted to, but she always say I talk too much. But you see that? Who did more talking this time? If I did more talking,
it's because I'm passionate about it. Okay, y'all see the swirl.
If she did more talking, I want you to put Allie. Okay.
No, they life all day long. Okay. Thank y'all for tuning in. We will see y'all next Thursday.
All right, later. Wait, was this thing even on? This thing wasn't even on.
There you go again.
It wasn't even. Is this? How about?